All right, Owls, this is Mr. O with your first set of flip notes that are being done at home. These are going to be your Matter 1 notes. This is going to be our first big unit in science. This will take us to the end of the first quarter. In class, we will update your TOC, but it will be TOC page number 8, and it's going to be Matter 1 notes. And you see the 6P21, that's just showing you the state standard, so if you want to check that I'm teaching you the right things, there's the number for you to double check me. I say Matter 1 notes because there's about 3 sections of matter. There's Matter 1, 2, and 3. Matters 1 and 2 we'll put together, and Matter 3 we'll look at separately. But let's get started. Remember, use that note sheet that I gave you to fill in along the way. If you have any questions or comments, please write them down so when we get together in class, you can ask anything that you're confused about. And also remember, you can pause, you can go back and redo this as much as you like until you feel comfortable with the content. Let's get started. The big idea of the unit of matter is this. You have to understand the structure, classifications, and physical properties of matter. Now, structure is Matter 1, classifications is Matter 2, and physical properties is Matter 3. So you can see where Matters 1, 2, and 3 come into this big idea. So let's start with Matter 1, and we're going to start with everyone's favorite, key vocabulary. We are going to do some definitions that we have to get very comfortable with in order to apply the information that we're about to learn. First word is, let's start with the word matter. Obviously, if it's our unit name, we should start there. Everything in the world is made up of matter. So if anything has mass and volume, it's considered matter. So the easiest question someone could ask you is, give me an example of matter. Look around. There are millions of different examples. Solids, liquids, gases, everything you learned in elementary school is running up right into this unit. It's all pieces of matter. And we'll move on and talk about what's not matter at the very end of this notes. The next word is atom. There's a not real picture of an atom, but this is the one you famously see with science classes. These are small particles that compose, and if you don't know what the word compose means, it means make up all matter. So all matter in the world is made up of atoms. Now an atom by itself is nothing until it combines to find elements. Now you always heard of the periodic table of elements, and these are the different elements that make up everything in the world. So different combinations of these 100+ elements, they keep adding them because of labs. However, these elements are made up of atoms, which make up all matter in the world. So if something is a solid, liquid, gas, plasma, it is made up of elements, and those elements are made up of atoms. You can start to see how we're building here. Now we have the word molecule and compound. In the 6th grade, you do not need to know the difference between molecule and compound. However, I'm going to explain to you the difference just so you're aware. This is a not real picture of water, and this is a real picture of water. Molecules are 2 or more atoms joining together chemically. A compound is when 2 different elements combine together. For example, water is H2O. That's 2 different atoms or elements combining together to make water. Understanding the difference between these two is like understanding the difference between an atom and an element. Like atoms have to come together to make elements. Molecules come together to make compounds. So all compounds are essentially molecules, if you want to look at it that way. But just understand that when things come together to form something, that's what we refer to as molecules and compounds. Particle is the next word. And particle, I show you a picture of solid, liquid, and gas. It's smaller pieces of anything. If you look at the root word of particle, it is part. So if you understand that a piece of something, that's a particle. Now let's turn the notes over to the back side, and we're going to talk about a man named John Dalton. He had an atomic theory. It's centuries old, yet it still holds validity today. There is 4 parts to his atomic theory that we will use throughout Matter 1. The first one is atoms cannot be broken into smaller pieces. What he meant by that is if you break down an atom into its parts, like protons, electrons, and neutrons, that is not an atom anymore. It's just a piece of an atom. So atoms are these smallest building blocks. Think of a very big Lego structure. If you take it to pieces, all you have is little pieces of Legos. Those little pieces of Legos would be each atom that was used to build the bigger thing. The next part of his theory was in any element, all the atoms are exactly alike. Meaning, if you look at the periodic table and you look at oxygen or nitrogen, every atom or every element of oxygen, all those atoms are identical. However, if you look at nitrogen, all those nitrogen ones are the same, but they're different than the ones of the other elements. He stated that atoms of two or more elements can combine to form compounds and molecules, meaning when atoms come together, they start to build the things we see in the world. And last but not least, he talks about atoms of each element have a unique mass. If you look at the periodic table, each element has a different atomic weight, which showing its mass is unique just to that element. And we will dig deeper into the periodic table a little bit later. And we're going to finish up with 3 key points. You need to know these key points because they kind of summarize matter 1. The first one, all matter is made up of atoms and molecules. Not just atoms, because atoms have to come together to form something, and that would be molecules. Different elements contain different atoms. I have pictures of 4 different elements in cartoon form right there, showing you how they're each unique in their own way. And the last but not least, everything is matter except for energy. Our next big unit is energy. So if you look at where we're starting off the year, how everything is built, and then we're going to talk about what everything is. If it's not matter, what is it? And that would be energy. That's the end of these notes. Remember, any questions, please write them down. You can ask them when we discuss these in class. Have a good night.